Creating viral Instagram reels in After Effects can be really easy, and that's what we're gonna do today. Devin Jatho does this all the time. As you can see, these are minimalistic animations that go really viral on Instagram. Now, before we begin, a template of this is available in the description down below for a small fee. And if you just want to follow this tutorial, the assets are available in the description down below. Now let's jump into it. Credits where credits due. Look at these views and look at these videos. They're really amazing, and also the editing is really great. So we're gonna use this as inspiration for today. Now also some credits to Foxic and Chris, who suggested this video in the video suggestions in our community. I really love seeing all you guys in Discord. Let's now go to After Effects. First, the example. As you can see, he introduces the video, and then you'll immediately see a whole animation basically. It will show a small text animation, then another text animation. It will scroll up, and then it will break it down. Now what you might have noticed is that this animation is actually the full animation that you see in the beginning. I want to explain you how to do it, but also how to do it efficiently. That's why I always do these quick breakdowns at the beginning of my video. Ideally, we'll just create this whole canvas with all these elements, and then we'll animate them later. So let's do that first. First, a new composition in a vertical format. And all these elements with the minimalistic style are quite easy. Mostly it's just lines and strokes. So in this case, I'm just gonna create a fill, none, and a stroke, maybe 5 pixels. We can change this later. And I'm just gonna drag and make a box, maybe 10 pixels. Then we'll select the shape layer, maybe call this square with play button, and we'll create a layer new, null object. Since this whole scene is not 3D, it doesn't make sense to work with a camera. It overcomplicates things, and also making some things 3D will make everything slower. So we create a null and we call this animator. And then we link the square with the parent button to the animator. And now what happens if we press P for position and we move the null, it also moves our element. Now what we're going to do is link everything to this null object so we can use this to animate everything later. I'm going to go to align, I'm going to center this, and I'm going to go to the star tool and drag this out. Now with the arrow tools while still holding it, you can increase and decrease the star to make a triangle. Now I will first have it point up because I'm gonna rotate it later. We'll just add the rotation here so I can precisely type in 90 degrees. Then turn off the stroke and turn on the fill. There we go. Align it to the center. Now we accidentally created it in the other shape. So go to layer new shape and then paste it in here. And then we'll delete it here. And why it's important, because otherwise we won't be able to align it in the center. I'm gonna move it down something like this. And this doesn't have to be perfect. You just now know how to create these basic elements. Now what we can do is link this to the animator and of course move this up so we can start creating the other elements. And if we look back at the elements, we see some basic text animation, but we also see these lines animate. Now again, this is all the same effect and also just different types of shapes or different types of lines. I will show you one or two, but for the other ones, it's exactly the same. So make sure nothing is selected. And then I'm just going to create a line, maybe from here, maybe from here. I'll hold shift so it's a straight line, and then down a bit, something like that. Make sure the fill is off and the stroke is on white, and maybe also 10 pixels, that's fine. Now you can just duplicate this by pressing Command or Control D, right click, transform, flip horizontal, and there we go, same line, but then on the other side. Now again, make sure that they're linked to the animator so you can move things around and make it a bit more clear to see. You can even, if you want to, press S for scale and scale it down to have a bit more overview, which comes in handy. Now for the animation, and we've done this before, you just open the line, you press add and you press trim paths. You open it and here you can animate the end. For example, we'll press the keyframe, move it out, and we'll press to 0. And then when you play it, as you can see, we get this beautiful animation. You can even select all the keyframes and ease it so it goes a bit more smoother and put them a bit towards each other like that. And same goes for the other shape layer. We can even just copy and paste this on the other layer and it will do exactly the same. Press U to see all the keyframes. As you can see, it now pasted it there. I will show you the proof to move this over. As you can see, this one also does it. Now, if we go back to our example, here you can see the circle. It's the exact same effect. I'll show it quickly. Just go to the ellipse tool, use the same stroke, I'll move everything over with our animator so we have a bit more space here. And then I'll just create a circle. Now a trick to do this is to hold Command or Control on Windows and Shift and then drag it out so it stays on the center of this line, and then we'll move it back down in a bit, something like that. Press P for position, move it down, and again link it to our animator. And then for the outer line, just duplicate it, increase the stroke to, for example, 50, open the shape, add trim paths, and you can animate the start or even the offset. And as you can see, that's exactly the same as in our example. Now all the other effects are exactly the same except a few things. First, the numbers. Second, the text animations. They all use the same blur effect. And then third, these progress bars. So let's do the number count. Now to do this, we just go to Layer, New, Text. We open it, we open the text. We'll go to our effects and presets and we'll add a slider control. Now hold Alt and click on the stopwatch. This code is also in the description down below and you can just copy and paste it over. Now what happens if we move the slider, it will also increase our number. And that's exactly the effect that we want. So we move this into the center, maybe make it a bit bigger, and then we'll keyframe the slider. We'll press U to see the keyframes and then maybe move it to 70. Now if we play it, you'll see the numbers go up. Now you can align it to the left or you can align it to the right, depending on how you want it to be moved. In this case, I'm gonna move it to 20%, and this is how you do the count up. Now for the text animation, there's a couple ways to do this. There's actually some presets that we can use, but we're gonna do it the real way. I will show you how to adjust your own effects and text animations. So for example, text here, I'm just gonna move it over. Let's open this and then we go to animate and then go to blur. We'll set this blur on a blur that you like, maybe something around 70, 75. And we'll go to animate again and I'm gonna go to opacity and then turn it to 0%. Now you won't see your text anymore, but what happens when we animate the start, you will see your text animate in, which is great. Exactly the effect that we want. And we can animate the start to the end like this and then just play it. And here we have our effect. If you want to increase the blur, you can do so by changing it to 170%, for example. And we can also easy ease this, move it up, maybe even move it out, maybe increase the opacity a bit. And we have the exact same effect. Now, other than that, we don't really have special text animations. We have one that comes from the above, which can be done by a mask. And the other ones are all the same effects that we already spoke about. And as I said, the progress bar is something that I would like to show. I'm going to duplicate this over and let's create a progress bar. So rectangle tool, make sure nothing is selected, fill maybe a cool blue color like this, turn the stroke off, and then we'll just create a really long bar, something like this. Now let's duplicate this, open the toggle switches mode and make sure that this is a alpha matte. Progress bar mask and progress bar. We can call this progress bar number. Let's link the number to the progress bar. Press P for position, move this out, and then let's move this to the left. Now one thing I'd like to do is to link this all to our animator like we did before. And I'm gonna scale out so we can see what's happening here. Move it up, press U for the progress bar, and let's move this in. And then if we play this, we see this progress bar going up. Now make sure that these are aligned, so press U again, right click, easy ease, and make sure that the number and the progress bar start at the same time. Now again, these are all the same effects, but now the question is how to do these crazy camera animations. Well, animator to the rescue, we can animate everything with this. So we can, for example, go to the beginning, press P and S for scale. Make sure when you select everything, toggle switches will make sure that everything has motion blur to really sell the effect. We'll scale this up, move the null object, something like this, maybe to the center. We'll set a keyframe. And then after, for example, we want to move to the other side, you can just really easily move the keyframe, can even easy ease it, maybe a bit quicker. And then if you add everything, you will get something like this. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share it with everyone. Thank you guys for the 3K subscribers. I'm really happy about that. Let's go to the 10K subscribers. Keep your comments coming and then I'll see you next time.